Well, this Saturday is our military appreciation game that we have each year, and obviously a sweater that I have on. But I wanted to personally thank all of the veterans, all of the military and their families for the sacrifices they have put forth for us to have a wonderful living situation in this great nation. And just wanted to personally thank them. And I know Under Armour and the University of South Carolina really support all branches of our military, and I want to make sure I opened it up with that. Got Texas A&M here Saturday night on ESPN, 7 o'clock kickoff at Williams-Brice. You know, I got a lot of respect for Jimbo. They have a really good football team, 4 returning starters on their offensive line, 4 seniors on their offensive line. Kellen Mond, who's a 4-year starter at the quarterback position, I think is very efficient in what they do offensively. Spiller has really come on for them as a running back. Smith, they use him in a lot of different ways. He's a really good, playmaker for them in the punt return game, as a running back, as a receiver in the slot, and does some different things there. Jimbo does a nice job of utilizing him. I think the tight end is a really good player. You know, in the off week, I think we have some really good tight ends in our league. We looked ahead a little bit on some opponents down the road, and I think Georgia's got a really good young tight end coming. Ole Miss has got a really good tight end. Obviously, we've played Pitts already at Florida, and it's Weidermeyer at Texas A&M is a very well-rounded guy. He's an every-down guy, can block at the point of attack, catches the ball extremely well, and they feature him in the passing game. So, really good football player. Some talented young wideouts they like. You know, defensively, some very good rushers on the edge, 3 and 8 and 2, all create some issues for you in the passing game. They're big inside. Very active. Buddy Johnson has been there for a while. It's the linebacker, and O'Neal and Richardson are really good safeties that are active in the game as well, and they've got some really good specialists to kick off. Most of them go out of the end zone. Really good punters, done a nice job, a left footer. So looking forward to an opportunity to get back on the field. Disappointed, obviously, with our last outing, and I know our guys are excited to get back out in front of our crowd here in Columbia, and looking forward to our night to appreciate the military and play Texas A&M, and I'll open up for any questions.
David with the first one.
Hey, Will, is the plan still to start Colin Hill at quarterback on Saturday?
Yes.
And did you and Mike have any discussions about giving another guy a look? Just how did those go over this bye week?
Well, Ryan and Luke both got a lot of reps, and I thought both guys did a nice job and continue to improve and get better, and we feel like Colin gives us our best chance to win.
Michael Espy.
Hey, Coach. Just wondering, with Election Day today, do you guys do anything different, anything special, or is it just kind of an ordinary day, ordinary week for you guys?
Well, by NCAA rules, it's a mandatory off day. We practiced on Sunday night coming off an open date. We practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. We practiced Sunday night. We practiced last night. And then we'll be back to a normal game schedule on Wednesday.
Rick Henry.
Hey, Will, what concerns you the most about Kellen Mond when you're preparing to face him?
Well, I think experience, number one. I think that the guy's seen a lot of looks, and his experience as a player. He's got legs. He can hurt you with legs. He's obviously very accurate with the football. He was 21 of 26 the other night. So I think he has a very good understanding of what they want done offensively. But he presents a lot of issues as, number one, as a thrower, and number two, as a runner, and a guy that's that's got, obviously, their staff and their team believe in him an awful lot, and the confidence that they have in him.
Josh Kendall.
Hey, Will, I don't know how your guys handled voting or how y'all facilitated that, but do you have any indication of how many of them voted early and what they might be doing with the downtime today?
The majority of our team has already voted. We had a small collection of guys, because we did have COVID testing this morning, that we had provided transportation for them to go vote. But we polled the entire team, and it was just a handful of guys that had not voted yet that wanted to vote today.
Have you noticed them being more has there been more chatter about the election cycle this year at their level than you have heard in the past because of everything that we've seen?
I wouldn't necessarily say about the election. I would say about the events going on in our country probably more than the election.
Ben Briner.
Hey, Will, I wanted to ask how much were you able to see kind of from Luke in terms of just obviously third stringers don't get a lot of reps during regular game week. How much more were you able to see from him over the bye? And do you feel like his role changes at all coming off those first 5 games?
Well, he continues to improve. He's been very impressive as far as the different things we're asking him to do because he's obviously different from Colin and Ryan athletically. So there's some different things that we're asking him to do at the quarterback position as opposed to what we're asking Colin and Ryan to do. So, but I think he's continued to progress with that package and has done a nice job.
Back to David.
Will, you guys are very familiar with Kellen Mond. In looking over the game film, I guess in the past couple of years, has there been one consistent thing that has enabled him to have as much success as he's had?
Well, I think he's been very accurate in our game. That's one of the things we looked at, coverage-wise. You look at last year and some critical third downs, feel like we're in position. He threw the ball in there and made some really nice throws in those situations. Really the last 2 years, and I would even say 3 years ago, the 24-17 ball game there in College Station. It's a 16-16 game here 2 years ago. They kicked the field goal to make it 19-16. They get the drive, convert 2 third downs, but it's a 26-23 ball game. We're kicking an onside kick, and then last year's game, I don't think that the final score was indicative of how the game went. It was a 13-3 game going into the fourth quarter. We didn't do anything offensively and got exhausted defensively and gave up a couple runs late and 17 points in the fourth quarter. But it's a 13-3 game, going into the fourth quarter. So he obviously has had 2 really good games against us the last 2 years. We've got to do a better job.
Gene Sapikoff.
Hey, Will, you were talking about opponent tight ends earlier. What about your guy Mullins? And can you kind of talk about how he's progressed since fall camp?
He's done a great job, really moving positions, Gene, and really having never been attached to the core of the formation and all of the different things that go into that position. Because in that position, you're involved in blocking of the run game, you're involved in protections, you're also involved in the passing game. So there's a lot of different things involved that he has never experienced before. He's done a great job. He's a guy, speed-wise, it creates a lot of issues for a defense. And you saw the other night against down in Baton Rouge, on the wheel route on the sideline, the vertical route on the nice, designed by Mike on the route on the 7 cut there for another explosive play. But he's a guy that can, certainly stretch the field vertically.
What's his makeup and personality like, would you say?
Kevion?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a quiet guy. He's very, very country. He's from Memphis, Tennessee, and you can tell it when he talks.
Mike Yuba.
Well, coming off the type of game that you had against LSU with the inability to stop the run as consistent as I'm sure you would have liked, knowing that you're going up against a team that likes to run the football a lot, how much does that excite this team knowing, that that's how they want to most likely attack you?
Well, we've challenged our guys to understand what we're getting into, that we've got to play the run much better. I think we're certainly more than capable of doing that. We looked at some things schematically that we can do to help our guys, and we got to play better. We got to get off blocks and play much better as far as disengage and snag and getting off guys. And so we've addressed some of those things, and I think we'll play much better.
Pete Acabelli.
Will, did you like what you saw out of your team during the bye week practices? And what areas specifically do you think they took strides and improved?
Well, I think there was a huge emphasis in the obviously defensively in the run game, and I think that we made some strides there. We did a lot of good work. I think offensively we got to protect the quarterback better and better timing in the passing game, and I thought we made some strides there. And we'll find out on Saturday night how many strides we made. That's the bottom line. Is it comes down to game day and how you play on game day. But we got good work and looking ahead at some opponents, and obviously a good start on Texas A&M.
Ben Briner.
Will, I wanted to ask how much growth and development have you seen from Jordan Birch across the first 5 games, and where does he kind of fit into your kind of game plan, your expectations at this point?
Well, I think he's from game 1 to game 5. It's night and day from where he is. And that was, that was expected for us. We knew that there would be, the light would go off, and I think the light has gone off. I think he plays extremely hard. I think he understands more the expectation of down in, down out, and what you've got to do in this league and how you play. But he is a very physical, violent guy that can make plays on the ball, that can rush the passer, that can get off block and disengage, and he can do a lot of positive things for us. I'm excited about his future, excited about seeing him Saturday night.
Also, I know Kevion had something with the ankle at the end of the LSU game. You guys expect him to go this week?
Yes.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, well, two questions. I know you said you guys practice Monday night and get back to regular game week tomorrow. Is that still early morning practices for y'all, Wednesday and Thursday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I guess you mentioned Parker White doing kickoff duties now. Are there any more personnel changes or scheme changes you expect going into this A&M game?
No, that's about it. I mean, there's be some different guys that, on special teams, getting Cam back and some other guys that we'll look at on teams as far as coverage units and return units.
Hale.
Hey, sort of along the lines of younger guys or guys who haven't played a bunch the first half of the season, any guys that took advantage of some increased opportunities during practice, guys who got maybe some more reps that really jumped
Well,
out?
again, I think that we ended all 3 days with a emphasis on younger guys participating. Rico Powers is a young receiver that continues to come on for us. Rashad Amos, a young running back, excited about the offensive lineman. Most of those guys, Vershawn has obviously played and started a game. Tyshawn Wanamaker's another player that we feel like continues to come on. Good movement inside. Jaheim Bell's made some strides at the tight end position. Got to have him continue to come on for us. I think Mo Kaba is another guy that continues to improve at the linebacker position. We need him to keep coming for us. Alex Huntley, expect for him to play Saturday night. A guy that continues to make some strides, is now healthy off the ankle, and thought he did some really good things in the open date, and obviously again on Sunday night and last night in both of those practice and preparation. And there's some other guys that have made some strides. Those are the ones off the top of my head that I think have made continued to improvement that catch your eye, that obviously can help us as we continue to move forward.
Phil Kornblut.
Hey, Will. In today's world of college football, how strange is it to be facing a starting quarterback for a fourth time? Is there some advantage to you as a defensive planner because you've seen Kellen Mond so much and you kind of maybe know his tendencies and know some things about what to expect?
No, because he's a good player. I don't know that it helps you at all, but no, he is a really good football player, an experienced guy. It's very unusual to see a guy in his fourth year as a starter, but to see where he's come as a freshman and how he's continued to progress every year, I think that, I think probably one of his most talented attributes is his toughness. This guy will stand in there. I mean, I think about last year, we rushed them pretty well. We got after him pretty good, and he got up every single time. T.J. Brunson did have a targeting in that game, and it was a clean hit on the quarterback, but, Kellen got right up and kept on playing. And I think his element of toughness, which I know impresses Jimbo from that standpoint in our conversation. So I have a lot of respect for the young man.
Back to David.
Well, looking way ahead here, but the bowl season this year, there's no requirement for wins or everything. Have you guys gotten any, direction from the NCAA, the conference office, the bowl commission about how that process will go? I mean, will you guys have to submit a bid? Will you be invited? Have you guys heard anything about that?
All bowl situations are controlled by our conference. So the conference, it'll all go through the conference, but we're getting ready for Texas A&M right now.
Patching on to that, do you have any doubt that you guys would be able to go in that situation, considering finances are what they are?
Chandler Mack.
Hey, Coach. Real quick, Texas A&M, they have the sixth worst rushing defense in the SEC. Can you talk to us what's been the emphasis on getting Kevin Harris and other running backs the ball just to maybe exploit that?
Well, no different, Chandler, than every week for us. We've got to have the ability to run the football. I think the thing that jumps out at you is when I started talking about their defenses, their edge rushers, I think are very effective. And if you get into a one-dimensional game, it's going to be very difficult as far as blocking those guys. So we've got to stay with the run, which that's something I know we're committed to and Mike's committed to. And that's been something that every week is an emphasis for us, regardless of who we're playing, is finding ways to run the football.
Josh Kendall.
Will, given now that you're halfway through this 10-game conference-only schedule, has it been about what you expected it to be, and where do you think your group is at this point?
Well, I expected it to be tough every week, and it's been tough every week. And unfortunately, we're sitting here at 2-3. And didn't think we'd be in this spot, but this is where we are, and we got to continue to take them one at a time. And every week is a season, and focus on that. And then we're focused on Texas A&M. This is where we are.
Are there any specific challenges to a 10-game conference-only schedule beyond just the fact that, every team you play is good to really good?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the, there's exactly what you just said. There's some really good players and really good teams in our league and really good coaches in our league, and each week that's what you're going to face.
Michael Espy.
Coach, how similar are Mike Bobo's and Jimbo Fisher's offenses, especially the way they like to use the tight ends? And I don't want to say isn't it an advantage for your defense, but is it a little bit easier maybe this week because you don't have to go against a scheme that's totally different than what they see all the time?
Mike, I think there's a lot of similarities in both guys and their backgrounds. I know both are committed to running the football. Both have play actions off all of the running game, which creates some issues in you in zone coverage. Both guys are going to be committed to pushing the ball down the field, whether it's off play action or some look, and both guys are going to attack you coverage-wise where they see some tendencies and they see some matchup issues. So I think that there's a lot of similarities between both.
Pete Acabelli.
Well, I know last game out, Jalen had found out he could play, and then he got in there to play. How much will it help that he had last week to go through knowing that he's going to play, and into this week knowing that he's going to play? Do you feel like it'll help him be even more ready for the field?
I think so, Pete. I think it would help him a little bit more, but we've done a lot of, crossover work where, he's been able to work with Colin, and we do 7-on-7, good on good. So he's had that work in what we do offensively. So it wasn't like he wasn't practicing with our offense at times. So he was probably further along than we normally would be if we weren't going through this situation. But certainly having invested all the reps this past, 2 weeks in preparation, or week and a half at this point, and 2 weeks after Thursday, certainly would help. Mm-hmm.
Gene Sapikoff.
I think, Pete, I can't hear you.
I was going to say, I'm guessing his attitude probably is a little perkier too, knowing that you can get on the field.
You know what? Jalen's attitude's always been great. He's a very positive young man, and he's handled, those are all difficult situations when it's totally out of your control. And, I appreciate the NCAA giving him an opportunity.
All right, let's go to Gene now.
Will, how nice is it for you and good for the long run that going into the second half of the season, you don't have to make redshirt decisions on some of these young guys?
That's huge, Gene. I mean, it's a really good rule, that they came up with, obviously, with when I'm going back to last year with 4 games and being able to make those decisions. But obviously this year, the way things have kind of evolved in the situation that we're in, I think it's great. I think it was a great decision by the NCAA to allow us to not have to count a year against a young man, whether he's a senior or he's a freshman. And there's no question that who knows what's going to happen moving forward as far as COVID and the different issues you deal with. To have a young man being able to go play in a game and not count against him, there's no question that's a huge benefit for everyone.
Colin Taylor.
Hey, well, I know a little off topic, but the secondary has obviously struggled at times this year, but JC's had probably his best year in terms of just general stats. I guess, what have you seen from him growth-wise? And I know he's pretty vital to this defense, but just how vital is he to you guys in the secondary?
Well, I think he's played extremely well. And, even before this year. I think he's gotten a little more headline, obviously, when you have the game he had against Auburn. But he hasn't been targeted a lot probably in the last 2 seasons very much. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities, and when he had, he's made plays on the ball. But fortunately, he had a game where, he have impacted and affected the game more than he has before against Auburn. So I think he continues to improve and get better. He wants the challenge each week of going against whoever we think they may be throwing the football to, and trying to get in that matchup as best we can, depending on what we're doing schematically. So again, I think that he's having a really good season. I think he's been very consistent across the board each week in his performance and how he plays.
Mike Uva?
Well, going into the LSU game, you said that Israel was just strictly going to be playing corner. Is it a game-by-game scenario in terms of where you want to play him, in terms of playing corner or safety, or is that kind of just something that you feel like he'll play corner kind of moving forward?
Well, I mean, he gives you the flexibility to play multiple spots because he can handle and play multiple spots. So, at the end of the day, we're going to do what's best for him and our football team. And if it's at corner, it's at corner. If it's at safety, it's at safety.
Do you anticipate him playing corner this weekend or being able to go back and forth?
Being able to go back and forth, starting out at corner.
Ben?
Hey, well, obviously you've seen Jimbo's offense going all the way back. I wanted to ask, how much has that offense evolved and changed, and also what kind of a sort of matchup problem is number 0 for them?
Well, Smith is a very difficult guy because he can obviously play running back, and they can create some 2-back sets with him, as opposed to when you're thinking it's going to be a 1-back set. So that does create some issues for you. And I think he's very, he runs extremely well, but the guy competes really hard when he gets the ball in his hand. He really runs hard, and he's quick. He's shifty in space and a very difficult guy to get down in space. We've got to bring our feet on him. We got to wrap him, but he is a good football player. I think that we all evolve and change, but I know philosophically, Jimbo believes in the run game. He believes in the play action off the run games. So whatever he's building from that and whatever he feels like is best suited for his offensive line and what his back's like, and then the play action's off that. There's a lot of carryover probably through the years in the passing game. That I would say is similar, but he's not a guy that focuses on plays. He focuses on players. He's going to focus on trying to get the ball to 85, to 0, to his backs, and that's something that always stuck out with me with Jimbo. Is it's not about plays, it's about players and what we can do to get guys the ball. And so, again, he does a very good job.
David?
I'm curious, Will, before the Auburn game, did you guys talk with the team, leading up through that week about how USC had not beaten Auburn as a member of the SEC?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else for Coach? See any other hands? All right.
I'm good.
We're all
Y'all have a
good?
good day.
All right.